What's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here from the Big Rich Live on the Mic Radio Show, and welcome to this episode of What's the Real Deal. Let me first apologize for my abrupt starting of the Big Rich Live show on Wednesday. I was just at my wit's end, and it is what it is. Everything that I said was factual. Actually, this show is going to be a continuation of that because of so many comments and questions that I got based on the subject. So I'm going to definitely delve into that. But you know, I usually don't start out my show like that. I usually, you know, a little bit more upbeat and positive. But sometimes even a rock shows some cracks. You know, even a great tree weeps a little bit. Even a great mountain shifts and sags a little bit. So, you know, I had one of those days, and you know, it is what it is. You know, a lot of people have been, you okay, everything is cool. Yeah, everything is cool. It's just sometimes enough is enough, like I named the last show. And you know, that old Negro saying, you know, sometimes you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You feel me? So that was basically it. Another thing, if you hear some of this humming, for some reason my freaking computer, my PC that is less than 4 months old, it's ringing like the fan or something. So I'm gonna have to unplug it and take it and get it looked at this weekend. So there might not be shows this weekend, but we'll have to see. I mean, I can use my iMac and stuff, but it's kind of hard. I don't have the hardware to do the voices, but we'll see. We'll make it do what it do. See what happens. Okay. Let's get to the crux of this. I didn't get any negative comments or DMs or emails. You know, I had a couple of my former colleagues, you know, said that might have been a little bit too harsh and this, that, and the third, but I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of retweets of the show, a lot of comments and questions and stuff like that. So we're going to go over some of the questions that were asked. The first and foremost question that was asked was that I was acting like, you know, you're not supposed to be scared, you know, as a police officer when you go into an unknown situation, or that I'm acting like I was never scared. Well, if you feel that that's why I was acting, then I don't know what you were seeing. I don't think, I know I didn't say that I was, you know, because I re-listened to the show just to make sure I didn't. But I was scared every damn day that I put that uniform on and left my house. You know, I would pray and beg basically that I would return home the same way I left. If somebody tells you, if they're a police officer and they tell you that they're not scared, they're either lying or something wrong with them. But see, the difference between the way I use my fear and what these other cowards, and that's what I call them, cowards. I call them to their face, cowards. Use their fear is totally different. My fear is used to heighten my abilities. My fear is used to keep me from getting complacent. My fear was used to look at things a little bit more, listen to things a little bit more, understand things a little bit more, try to adjust and anticipate a little bit more. That's what I use my fear for. These guys use their fear, and gals use their fear, not even the unknown, fear of black people, to justify harming and using excessive force, using deadly force, because they're scared. I was in fear for my life. Well, if that's the case, a police officer can legitimately say they're in fear for their life every day. Because you never know. I would tell my trainees, I would like, you can say that you big and bad. You know, you got these sheriffs and these chiefs and these officers and whatever talking big and bad on YouTube and on the media. We gonna follow, we gonna find you, this, that, and the third. there's about 500 to 550,000, give or take, officers from the local, state, and federal in this nation. There are over 250 million people. That means just off the top, there's about 100 and a half people for every officer that's on there. Maybe my math is a little bit off. What that means is they will recognize you a whole hell of a lot more often and quicker than you recognize them. So what I say is, follow your training, follow your heart, follow your conscience, and do the right thing. The majority of the time, it will get you through. So let's dispel that, oh, well, Rich is trying to act like you're not supposed to be scared, and he was never scared. Yes, 23 years I was scared. I would do a traffic stop, which I pretty much stopped doing the last 2 years, I want to say, of my career, unless it was something egregious. Like, I didn't go around looking for a broken taillight or broken headlight, or somebody switched lanes in front of me and didn't signal, or something like that. It would have to be egregious. Like, I'm doing 80 miles an hour, you fly past me, you doing 90. Okay, I got to stop you. People looking at me, not stopping. You know what I'm saying? You run the red light and almost cause an accident. I'm sitting at the intersection. Yeah, I got to pull you over for that. That type of stuff there. If you have a tag that's 4 years expired, yeah, I got to pull you over for that. But my last 2 years, I wasn't fishing, if you will. But every time I did do a traffic stop, you're heightened. Your fear of the unknown, you should be used to heighten your security. You follow what I'm saying? To make sure that you approach a situation well thought out in your mind. Okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If I see this, I'm going to do that. Does it work all the time? Nothing works all the time. Not even death. Death doesn't work all of the time. Yes, death is absolute and we all will die. But death is not 100%, because there's people who get brought back from the brink of death. And some of them have been clinically dead and still brought back to life. So nothing in life or death is absolute. But if you know what you're doing, if you have compassion as a person for all people, whether they're good, whether they're bad, black, brown, or yellow. Okay? So let's get the fear. Let's get rid of that. Now, a lot of people was talking about tactics. Why do certain people, why was I really harping on like the muscle memory and not having, or trying not to have, two things in your hand? I was talking to my wife the other day, and I explained to him. I said, have you ever been in a situation? Have you ever been in a situation where you've had your hand? This is your strong hand. The majority of the public is right-handed, so that's what you call your strong hand. Those who are left-handed, their left hand is their strong or their dominant hand. It just happens to go that way. Now, people who are ambidextrous and stuff like that, they can use both hands equally. Usually, you have one hand that's dominant, one hand that's not. That's just how it goes. Whatever your foot, if you're right-handed, your right foot is more dominant than your left foot. That type of stuff right there. So, if you've ever been in a situation where you've had something in this hand, or better yet, you had something in this hand, and you bumped up against something and your hand automatically opened up. Or if you grab something with either hand and the other hand either reaches to grab something else or it sort of twitches. People think that in moments of crisis that your hands act independently of each other. They don't. They don't. Now, yes, you can sit up there and say, I can do this, I can stop one and move this hand and stuff like that. I'm talking about when your fine motor skills are its least, which is when you are the scariest. When you are almost terrified, your fine motor skill, or terrified or out of breath or something like that, or very angry, your fine motor skills deteriorate. So If I'm trying to do something, like in the Alton Sterling case, if I'm trying to grab somebody and gain compliance with my offhand, and I have my gun out with the finger on the trigger with my strong hand, the odds that that gun will be fired are high. Enormously high. I can't put a percentage on it, but it's high. If you are in a scuffle with somebody, and I'm not talking about a life and death situation where they're about to mount you. Mounting means when you're laying on your back and they're getting on top of you. When they're about to mount you, you got to pull out your gun. If you can get your gun out, you got to just shoot and hope that you hit the person. I'm not talking about these life-threatening situations. I'm talking about situations where the police officer has jumped out their car and already started 1,000. Okay, yelling and screaming, gun is drawn, all of that type of stuff, adrenaline rolling. We have what's called tunnel vision. So now your fine motor skills, when you actually can think and think things out, are deteriorated. They're put on back. You're in that self-preservation mode. And all your stereotypes, your prejudices, and your bigotries will come out. And this is how you treat other people. You cannot say that it isn't this way, or it is an aberration when you see people of different colors doing the same thing getting treated a different way. Follow what I'm saying? Really? Like you have somebody who burns down the church, puts the N-word, spray paints the N-word all on the side of the church, SWAT stickers and all that type of stuff. That person is arrested. That person is not charged with a hate crime. But then you have two females who happen to be a different color arrested for burning a Trump sign, and they originally get caught. And when they got caught, they originally got charged with a hate crime. Like I've said before, this was only stopped when good white people decide to make it stop. This won't stop. You know, you have people, and it just drives you nuts when you see people like Sessions, like Paul Ryan, like Donald Trump, like Mike Pence. Well, they actually look at you with a straight face and tell you that your eyes are deceiving you. You know that old adage, are you going to believe me or your lying eyes? And you have a swath of people who actually believe that shit. Actually believe that a 15-year-old boy shouldn't have been in that position. Shouldn't have been in that position to get shot, to make the officer shoot him. It's silent. It's outrage. The outrage is where? Where's the outrage? There's no outrage. There's no outrage. I've broken down these two, and what I'm going to do, I've been asked to do that, and I think what I'm going to do, because I really don't want to shit on my boys in blue, my boys and girls in blue. I really don't, because the majority of them are hardworking. They in it for the right reasons. You know, do some of them turn the other cheek when they see some bull crap going on? Maybe. You know, you're scared, you're new, you really don't know what's going on, you want to get in trouble, you don't want to alienate yourself, that type of stuff right there. I was a subject to that. Not that I saw something that was wrong, but I always felt, you know, especially in my first 10 to 12 years, like, well, you know, you do what you told, shut up, you know, and just roll with the punches. Not even roll with the punches, but just do what you told and do what everybody else is doing. You follow what I'm saying? But your morality has to come in. But if you don't have any morality, if you are looking at some group of people as dogs, as less than, it's kind of hard for you to empathize with them like you would empathize with your own kids. You know, now granted, we haven't heard anything from this gentleman who shot the 15-year-old boy with a rifle. And remember, I went through there. We've talked about tactics. Tactics is one thing. You never want to bring a knife to a gunfight if you're the police. I understand it. You don't want to go up against a gunman with just your service pistol. You know, if you have, like when I was 10-8 on the street, I had all sorts of weapons. You know, I had M16, which is AR-15. I had a shotgun. You know, I had my service pistol, I had a taser, ass baton, pepper spray, that type of stuff right there. So you have all of that to work with. You have all of that to work with. But if you get out your car at 1,000, you bypassing all of that except for your gun. Now you done pulled your gun out, and now is a fist fight. What you gonna do with your gun? So now you involved. Now you've already cut yourself down to what you could do to a situation, because you only have one hand, which is usually your off hand. You know, back in the day, we used to call it your strong hand, your weak hand. We got away from weak hand because you don't want to push a weakness. So you say your strong hand and your off hand. But I do know that my left hand is weaker than my right hand. My right hand is my dominant hand. I'm a right-handed person. So basically what I've done is, because of poor tactics and poor training, I pulled my gun out. My partners pulled their gun out. Now we done cut 4 hands and the 2 hands. And as the push-pull come, that's how it's going to work out. That's how it's going to work. What happened to Alton Sterling was bound to happen because you had 2 officers who either had piss poor training, no morality, or a combination of both. Now I know I'm gonna get pushback. It is what it is. Everybody has an opinion. I wrote it, but like I said on Wednesday's show, I'll put my career up against anybody. I've been there. I've done that. I know how to handle a situation. If you do not have the right mindset, tactics means nothing. Training means nothing at all. It just means nothing at all. So you have a situation where I go to, remember I said this on Wednesday, I go to a call of a house party who might go awry, and I have a freaking rifle in my hand. Let's just say the rifle, he got the rifle in his hand. Something jumps off where there's massive arrest needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? We have situations where we'll look at, let's just say we'll look at a swath of people, and there might be 30 people, and out of them 30 people, 5 people are the leaders, are the instigators of this potential riot. So we need to go and cull the herd. So we need to go and grab them out. You are of no use to anybody because you have a rifle. What are you going to do with your rifle? You're stuck, because you're not going to leave the fight to go put the rifle away, so you're stuck. So again, I ask, why do you have a rifle when you are responding to a house party? That's what I meant about tactics. That's what I talk about when you have the proper training. When you have the proper training and then the proper hiring process, and you put them all together, you then have the makings of a great police organization. Doesn't mean perfect, you know, that I just said. Doesn't mean perfect. Doesn't mean that you're going to please everybody, because you can't please everybody all the time. You're going to piss some people off. But the fact of the matter is, you start with your hiring process, and then you streamline and you make sure that your training is just that, training, and then training the proper way. Period. You know, I'm not going to run too long. We've already ran about 19 minutes, so I just wanted to get those out, that little part out, because I know I got a lot of DMs and a lot of questions about that, and I just wanted to break that down just a little bit for you. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but a lot of people asked me now since the Wednesday show. They've sent me some emails and stuff and asked me would I consider giving my opinion on some other cases and stuff like that. I don't know. You know, I have opinions. Maybe I might do that. You know, I'm not going to have another show, like that. I mean, we still can't get the African American News Show. This is second week. You know, we can't get it off the ground because I got other stuff going and we just busy and stuff like that. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. But I'm gonna get it going. I look at my Twitter. Look at my Twitter feed, and you'll find out what my decision gonna be. That's capital B, capital R, live on the mic. That's capital B, capital R, live on the mic. That's my Twitter handle. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay safe, stay woke. Peace. I'm out of here.